So, as the train heads onwards through the night, Maddie has shut herself in her cabin and locked the door, leaving Mortimer, Morgan, and perhaps their new acquaintance to resolve the matter of the missing arm. Johan, on the other hand, has just had the most disturbing night of his life so far. He has lost his dear friend, seen something that cannot be explained, and encountered what can only best be described as a group of madmen. But how he will handle this remains to be seen. So, as Maddie shuts the door to her cabin, Mortimer and Morgan, I'll go to you first because you have a slightly more idea what's going on here. What are you doing?
Taking a whiskey.
See, going back to the bar car and taking a whiskey. Yeah? Mortimer, what about you?
I'm a bit stuck at what we should do because there's two different things that we could be dealing with here. The item that's been stolen, the person will either have it with them in their cabin or they would have hidden it somewhere to pick up later on, knowing that the cabins are likely to be searched. Because if I had stolen something on a train, there's not many places you could hide it, really. The way I'd see it is, you know the cabins are going to get searched, but I don't think anyone would consider searching the empty cabins where you could pick up an item later on. Should someone search the cabins? So we've got an idea which cabins are empty. So I think we should possibly have a quick look in those because we won't be disturbing anyone. We can tell which ones are empty because the blinds on the door and the windows will be up. We could just have a quick passing glance to see if it looks as if anything's hidden in those. Now, do we want to inform the conductor of the theft?
So something's been stolen from you. Okay.
Yeah, Miss Carter, you won't have known because you haven't had much of an opportunity to speak with her, but she's a historian. And,
sure? She's the one that ran off with my rapier.
Yes. She probably still has it, actually. But
No, it's. I got it back. It's fine.
But she's a historian, and she was returning a piece of a fragment of a statue to, I believe, the city where it is manufactured. Like, basically just returning a piece of history.
I'm sorry, but isn't that the other way around these things normally work?
It is. I was very confused by it. I'm just friends with her, which is why I've come on this journey, really. We couldn't exactly allow her to travel on her own.
I understand.
It looks like someone has basically taken the suitcase that this statue fragment was in. Whilst we were dealing with what was going on in the other cabins, it could have been the whole thing was a ruse to get distractors, to give them the freedom to be able to search the cabins.
Well, that certainly worked. Distracting it was, indeed.
Could have killed us, to be fair.
So, just for like an explanation of what
was it?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to have to check. I seem to remember something about it. But I have a couple of books, and I believe I saw a reference of it in those. I'll have to double check. But
so you have that book with you?
I do, yeah. There are some things that you hear stories, superstitions, and folklore about things that go bump in the night as such.
Well, that was clearly not superstitious because it was clearly there.
But I've been led to believe that some of these stories and superstitions have some truth in them.
I think after what we just witnessed and what we just lived, I think, you remember the story I told you about a bad guy or something bad that did this?
Hmm. I'm assuming it's something
Can you imagine?
superstitious.
Yeah. You can imagine a big dog walking on two legs with two big hands and big claws.
Werewolf?
I don't know if we can call this a werewolf. But yeah, kind of.
I only have my superstitions to work with.
It was something along those lines. I think I found a reference of it. I believe they were known as, if it's what I think it was, a corpse eater of the Nile. Something along those lines. Sort of like bug-like creature that walks on two legs that eats the corpses of the dead.
And if you want to know more, this creature, in the first place, it was a human.
That just makes it more like a werewolf than... Well,
But,
you said you have a book about that.
yeah, I'm going to check now what I can find out about that creature we just encountered.
Good, and if you find the passage, I would, like to read up on that too.
You know what I found? Keeper, I actually passed the mythos roll to recognise what it was.
Yes, and I think I gave you some information on it last week.
You did, so
Yes.
I'm going to check the relevant book, which was... Let me double check. I think it was the first one I got, which was the Vermi Mysteries.
The Wormy Mysteries.
The Mysteries of the Worms,
The Vermis Mysteries.
which I think is a mythos rating 36, but
It does indeed, yes.
I wrote them down beforehand because we always forget.
Very organised. That's something I should do.
Actually, both books I have got 36, so it's easy to
That makes life
remember.
easier. Yes, that one was the one with the spell in it. So yes, if you want to take some time to have a look through the book of what it has to say about this creature, you can do so. Roll me a D100, please.
Yes, I'm not sure whether I want to spend time looking through the book now for the information, but or whether we want to check the empty cabins whilst we have a chance. What does everyone think? Let's I check the book now and you check the empty cabins.
I could, yeah.
Sure, we can go check the cabins. Once you find the passage, I'd still, like to read up on my own so I can start understanding what's happening. What, I'll just start moving, looking at the empty cabins.
Okay, so you're going to look back through to the sleeping coach, look for empty cabins. Morgan, are you going with him?
Of course.
Yeah. So as you make your way through into the sleeping coach, you see there's actually now only one cabin with the blind up. The second empty cabin has had the blind pulled down, one at the end. There is still one empty cabin next to Maddie's, which has the blind pulled up to indicate there's no one using it.
Well, let's open the door. It's probably not locked, right?
It is not locked, no. As you open it up, you can see this cabin. There is a cupboard slash wardrobe for storing your clothes, and a single bed. This is just a single cabin. And are you both having a rummage round, having a look around?
Sure.
Okay, I'd like you... Which of you has the least luck?
Probably McCrashley.
24.
Yeah, easily.
Give me a group look roll then, please. Okay, so you start searching through this cabin, and it seems... There doesn't seem to be much in here. It's an empty cabin. It's been made up, ready for a passenger, but no one has used it. There's probably still a little chocolate on the pillow. A little truffle. But as you're looking through, you hear a voice from the hall. What exactly are you gentlemen doing, rummaging around in that cabin in the middle of the night?
Straight to my jacket.
You
Straight
see
to my... Yep.
one of your fellow passengers, Lady Viola Rushley, standing in the doorway with her hands on her hips and a dressing gown over her night clothes. What precisely are you doing?
Looking for something that has been stolen from us.
Yeah, you might need to take a look around. There's thieves on board.
Thieves? Oh, goodness. As well as ghosts and whatever else people have been screaming about in the middle of the night.
Well, I'm assuming that whatever that was a distraction.
Well, check my travelling case later. Why would you be looking for stolen objects in an empty cabin, though?
Well, we were assuming that whoever the thief was is still on the train, and that the cabins of the persons would be, looked through if we went to the conductor with the problem. So a thief would probably hide them somewhere, like here.
That actually makes a surprising amount of sense, yes.
Indeed.
What was stolen?
Some sort of antique, if I'm correct.
Yes, an antique and artifact from. I'm not familiar, but one of my colleagues is an historian, and she has an artifact and some kind of statue.
Ah, well, I will keep my eyes peeled for it.
We'd appreciate that.
A little sort of side eye, and I'm going to ask. I think I am going to ask for an interaction roll here, like either a charm or a persuade here. Just
Sure.
See how much, or a fast talk, I guess, seeing as there is some level of deceit going here. But it's up to you. Which tax you're really taking here.
I have the wrong character open. Whoops. I would have almost used James. So, where's the charm?
James just appears in the middle of the train with a tray of scones.
There you go.
Yeah, she seems... She gives you a little side eye for a moment, but you've got quite a winning personality. And she goes, well, good luck with your search, gentlemen. Try not to bang around too much. Some of us are trying to get some sleep. Woken up several times already tonight. Pretty distressing.
We will try our best to stay silent.
Right, well.
Have a
good night.
Quiet night.
Good night. And she returns to her cabin next door.
As she's leaving, I would like to mentally go through that interaction we just had. Whether she's nervous about us looking around and, there's witches and stuff.
Please. Yeah.
Could I do
witches and werewolves and all?
Yeah.
Who knows?
She seems curious and perhaps a little sleep deprived, but you don't get any indication of deceit from her. She more just seems like she was being nosy.
I mean, fair. I would be too in the same situation.
Would it be possible to do a spot hidden here? Maybe to see if something is peculiar?
You can do, if you really wish, yes.
I really wish.
you find some dust where they've not cleaned properly in one of the corners of the room, and an old train jacket someone had forgotten that had fallen down the back of the wardrobe. But other than that, nothing appears to be hidden in here. It is an empty room.
Jeez. Nothing here. I think the next step is will be to inform the conductor and the train staff.
Yeah, I don't think we have any other possibilities right now, unless somebody's really good at being thievery themselves, searching rooms that we shouldn't be in. Well, let's go and ask the conductor then.
Okay, so you're going to go and speak to the conductor. Meanwhile, Mortimer, did you say you were going through your book? Was that correct?
It was. I rolled an 8.
Ah. Well, an 8 is enough to... I mean, you're putting the pieces together now as you read through this book, as you realise that this is the very same creature that you yourself have an incantation to summon and control. This is the invisible servant spoken of in the Vermis Mystralis. This is the creature that you can summon, the unseen servant, the demon, this creature that you can call forth from the night.
That's good to know.
Only by reading the words on the page. You must have the book in hand to summon it. The book or whatever other parchment this spell is written on must be in your possession. You cannot do it solely from memory. You need the text.
I think I'll better keep this book with me just on the off chance. I'm assuming it's not an instant thing, it's an invoke one, so I can give it a set job, set task to do.
Set task, a single task. That if it can obey, it will obey. But it's not, from your understanding of the book, it's not necessarily something more like a golem command where you can send it to guard something for eternity. It's more like you could send it to go and
kill
someone for you, or it's more of an instantaneous short-term thing.
An invisible assassin.
Yes, that would probably be a more accurate description of the creature.
Does it
but
say
also that it has hungers of its own. It feasts on blood, and it's more likely to more willingly obey a commander that conforms to its own murderous nature.
Do I know what the creature's called? Is that actually, or do I just think it's the invisible servant?
The book calls it an invisible servant.
So I don't find any specific.
That is the name the book gives it, the invisible servant.
I do have a further question, which isn't actually relevant to this, but it's relevant to something else.
Yeah.
The arm, when I was inspecting it, would be the previous day when I was trying to copy the markings off it. Is the arm hollow?
The arm seemed heavy. It was hollow, yes. You would have been able to see, because you've only got the arm, that it's almost like...
Is it like a prosthetic?
Hollow ceramic, a prosthetic or the arm of like a mannequin or something.
So if I were to...
You could fit your own arm inside the arm, yes. If that's the question you're asking.
That is. Could I effectively, surgically flay my own arm and attach said arm to me?
You could, yes.
Do I know which arm, left or right, was it? Do you remember?
It was the... Bear with me one moment, because I did actually write down which arm it was.
I think there's an image of it somewhere.
Yes. Where did I... It'll be in items. It's quite obviously, along with everything else I never remember to look at again. NPCs, items. It's the left arm.
That's good to know because I'm right-handed. So I could actually... that's an option. I was just considering it, thinking of the weird nightmares he's been getting. Being flayed.
Yeah. Maybe they're trying to tell you something.
It could be.
It's a sign. This is
I wonder.
a really good idea.
Does it matter if it's a good idea or a bad idea? It's an idea.
It's an idea. It's an idea.
The thought I was just considering is from a medical viewpoint, of course.
Yes. Purely a scientific medical viewpoint.
Yes. Also, the other two gentlemen have gone to speak to the conductor. I'll check my books about something else that I have in my possession. The necklace of Nitocris.
Yeah. Are you checking? Which of your books are you checking on this matter?
I've got a feeling it'll be the second one because
The cults.
the cult's the goal, simply because we sort of stole that from the cult that technically had an interest in this necklace.
And have you had time to? I can't remember. Have you fully studied this book?
I haven't fully studied it yet.
No. But have you given it its initial read through? I can't.
I had an initial read through, but I've not, because it was in French. I was in the middle of translating it, so I haven't fully translated it yet.
Right, give me a roll against the book rating of 36 as you're doing some more lovely light nighttime reading.
Bit of light reading.
Yeah, nothing like reading a lovely book about
good.
necromancy on a dark night's journey through Bavaria.
Books on necromancy and everything beginning with N. Well, everything beginning with necro.
Yeah, all the necros, the good ones, the worst ones, and the terrible ones.
I'm guessing I find nothing extra about this necklace.
Nothing about the necklace in particular, no. I think... I'm trying to remember what you'd learned in the past. The name Nitocris does occur in this book. So the passages mentioning explicit details seem to be smudged and harder to read, but the name of Nitocris as sort of a queen of death and ghouls does occur. She's definitely connected.
But I've probably not fully translated that section, which is why I'm having problems.
The clear details a lot.
But I'll just keep that in my jacket pocket for now. I'm not going to wear it, but I'll keep it in a jacket pocket.
That seems another good idea.
Of course, all my ideas are great.
Yeah.
From grafting statue arms to myself, to keeping necklaces of some cursed dread queen.
As we like to say round these parts, what could possibly go wrong?
Definitely. I mean, worst case scenario, I see what happens when I put it on, but as things stand, I don't need to yet. I came up with considered whether I'm losing my mind, but there's something attacking my mind. I'm not entirely sure what it is. But what would happen if we put the necklace on? Would the two things try to battle each other for possession of my mind? Who knows? For sanity, there's a lot of things you can think of with for sanity.
Yeah. So, sorry.
It's okay, that's pretty much all I'll be doing.
Yeah, so as Mortimer flicks through his ancient books, Johann and Morgan go to find the conductor, who's been having quite a night of it. You find him looking slightly frazzled. Gentlemen, can I assist you in any other matters?
Well, there seems to be another incident on the train.
Another murder?
No.
I mean, no, he doesn't think it's a murder. Sorry, another death?
No. It seems to be that somebody used the distraction that the situation has brought, to steal some sort of valuable item from this gentleman and their entourage.
Oh, goodness. Death and theft. What was stolen? Money? Jewels?
It seems to be some sort of antiquity statue, or
Nice.
a part of a statue.
Yeah, part of a statue. It's like an artifact, like looking like an arm.
This was stolen?
Yeah,
Tonight?
from our cabin.
Well, look. We're due into Munich in the morning. We can ensure that any passengers leaving the train there are searched, and then we can, when we have a few more staff on the day shift, we can thoroughly go through the cabins. How does that sound, gentlemen?
Cheers. It will be welcome, yeah.
Until then, I suggest you all get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether I will be, but I'll try.
Well, yes, of course. And if there's anything else I can do, please do not hesitate to ring us a bell.
Yes. Well then, it's time to turn around.
Sorry, I must. There's been some reports, some kind of incident in the dining car. Apparently, someone spilled something. I don't know what. Bottle of wine, maybe. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Good night.
Well, I'm gonna go to my room. I'll probably lay awake in my bed for a while.
Try to sleep just a little, but maybe I think if it continues like that, you will need to sleep.
Well, we will see if I can manage, right? But yeah.
Want to ask if it's possible to change room and come closer to ours?
I mean, currently,
Oh.
not that far away anyway, right? It's just Lydia Viola between the two of us. It's fine.
Yeah, you are, I believe, in the cabin next to Morgan and Mortimer's, right?
Oh, wait. No, this...
All right.
Yeah, right. I'm next to that. Yeah, right
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
good.
just missed names.
If something comes up, scream, all right?
You'll hear me. Or at least a gun.
So neither of you are attempting to carry out any further investigations tonight.
Well, I will try to sleep at least. And then just, roll around in bed, but I don't think I'm going to do anything tonight.
Okay. And Morgan?
I think I will take a last look to the car, the salon car, the kitchen maybe, just passing through. Maybe if I see something strange or something not in place, and once I have done my tour, I will go back to my room and see if Mortimer has found something.
Nothing seems to have changed in the salon car since you were last there. There seems to be some kind of commotion in the dining car. You hear voices of a couple of train staff going, "It's blood, I tell you, it's blood. Well, how did it get on the walls? We need to get this cleared up before breakfast is served." Goodness. I know it's the middle of the night. Get a couple more of the staff up, we'll scrub it off, get some clean tablecloth, and then we'll deal with whatever on earth is going on when we get to Munich. They say.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing seems out of place.
I know it's could be peculiar, but when I come to the Calais coach, the salon car, that's the commotion was in the restaurant car or in the
Yes,
salon car.
the salon car was where Wolfgang died, and then the restaurant car was where you exploded the
Yeah. So
creature.
what I would do is when I arrive in the salon car is check a little more around there, under the tables, maybe even in the piano, because you can hide something in the piano, for example, maybe in the bar. No, take a look around there, because we went to the restaurant car, so the spot has been left open, so we never know what could happen there.
You don't find anything of particular interest.
Right.
Nothing out of place in here. In fact, because most of the time that you were in the restaurant car, Johan and the conductor was back in this car, if you remember.
Oh yeah, all right. So no, then I will go find Mortimer and ask if he found something.
Okay, so you return to the cabin where Mortimer is finished with his light nighttime reading.
Did you find anything interesting?
Unfortunately, no. We have our little neighbor, Lady Viola, is curious about us.
Well, to be fair, we are a bit strange. Hasn't she? But I believe being rich, you're allowed to be eccentric rather than strange.
Yeah. I can be both.
But her cabin is next to Maddie's.
Indeed, where we were...
No, she was next to the empty cabin.
Yeah, that's it. And we were searching for the empty cabin, and she was curious about what we were doing there, so...
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But were you able to speak with the conductor?
Yeah, he will be searching the cabins when we arrive in Munich, when the day arrives. Before arriving to Munich, like this, we are sure nobody are leaving the cars.
That's good.
But
offer him our services because there might be a bit more information I found, which I wouldn't want to inform him of, but obviously I'll let you know. I managed to find in one of my books, The Creature We Encountered, I found an incantation that would allow me to summon said creature. So it explains the details around it. It's usually summoned for a set task, usually to kill an individual. It's invisible, it feeds off blood. It, as I said, it tends to be summoned for a particular job, and then it's dismissed once it's done its job. It's returned to wherever it was summoned from. But to summon it, you need the incantation written down either on a scroll or in a book in front of you. So whoever summoned it would have had to have had a book with it on or a scroll with it written on as well.
Would it be possible to summon it and leave it be, like just give him the mission and, for example, stay in the cabin and let the creature do his work? Or do he has to be nearby?
I think it's much easier to summon it to something it enjoys, and it enjoys killing stuff and feeding off things. It's sort of like those vampire stories, they feed off blood. So if you give it instructions that would allow it to do so, it'd probably be quite happy without pushing against your commands. But I don't believe it's something you could summon to guard something or watch over something. I believe it's more something you summon just to kill someone as a set job. Like an invisible killer, an assassin of sorts.
And kill someone in particular, or just kill someone?
Well, to be fair, you could do either. You could just tell it to kill someone, or make a noise in a cabin to lure someone, and the first person who comes across for it to kill them. But yeah, I've got no plan to summon this creature.
With everybody we saw today, do you think one of the people could have a book or something written down to summon the creature?
To summon it, they would have had to have had something. A piece of parchment, like a scroll. They'd have to have the words written down. Whether they destroy the scroll afterwards is another thing, but they would need words written down.
I remember someone with the newspaper, but I don't remember someone with a book or something else. But
yeah, I believe the doctor. I think he was talking to Lady Viola about something. Dr. Walter Johnson. They were discussing things like tigers and exotic animals and that sort of thing. I avoided getting involved with said conversation, but I believe he may have had a book when he was reading, but certainly not this sort of book.
But a book can hide another one, or a text.
But the people I suspect most at the moment, strangely enough, would be the two sisters.
Dupont, that's it?
Augustine and Louise, I think.
Yeah.
The reason I'd suspect them is because the distraction was in this salon cart. So anyone going past would have to pass their cabin, as well as the newlywed cabin. So I believe Johann and his friend Wolfgang were the next nearest cabin. I don't think the newlyweds would have heard anything. So those two sisters are in the cabin closest to the salon cart, and they would have seen or heard people going past the door. So they could have, in a way, waited to make sure there was enough of a distraction the conductor had gone past before going into our cabins. And there's two of them, they could have had one in search each. So they're the people I suspect most at the moment. Whether we wait for us to arrive at the next stop and go with what the conductor says is another matter. We could wait till breakfast and ourselves check the cabins, assuming they've got the dining cart fixed and cleaned up to serve everyone. We could perhaps search a cabin.
Yeah.
Once we knew it was empty, of course.
The only one who seems empty was the one between Maddie's and Lady Viola's one.
But we could wait till someone leaves a cabin.
We could.
The problem with the two sisters is whether one goes for breakfast and leaves the other in their cabin. If they've stolen something, they'll probably want to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, but that could give us a hint. That is the case.
Yes. One option could be to ask the conductor to inform all the passengers about the death of Wolfgang, and they could insist to do an announcement to just in the salon before breakfast, perhaps announce to the passengers about the demise of one of them. I don't know whether they choose to do so, but that would give us time if all the passengers are there for us to check a cabin, but we'll have to see. At the moment, I'm just not sure what we can do.
Okay, are you intending to do anything that night? Essentially, if you want to do anything before morning, speak now.
Oh, there is no tree, so I wouldn't bother.
Okay. No tree and no Franco to climb it.
I think I was climbing a tree somewhere.
Could very well be searching for that statue. But I think Mortimer's not going to sleep tonight because, I mean, this was it about 3 a.m. you said?
It's about 3 a.m. at the moment, yes.
So it's only a few hours till sunrise anyhow. So he'll sit awake. I'm not sure what he'll do. Probably some light reading.
Light reading.
A medical journal or something like that, rather than the
Genuine light.
genuine light
Okay, a
reading.
medical journal counts as light reading around these parts.
Yes.
Do they have any articles about how to flay your own arm?
He will actually be looking up surgical techniques. That'll be the thing that's interesting him at the moment.
How about Morgan? Does Morgan have any intentions before morning?
Maybe we'll pass the Calais coach for last time. Maybe if I hear something special, I don't know. But after that, I will go to sleep as well.
Okay, you make your way through the sleeping car. Give me a listen check, please.
If Morgan's going to have a wander to look around, I'll probably follow him. To be fair. Anything to stay awake.
Success.
Most of the cabins seem quiet, but you hear snoring coming from Dr. Johnson's cabin. He seems fast asleep. You can hear him snoring in there. As you pass by Timothy's cabin towards the end, you can hear the sound of someone like sort of rustling around reading. It seems like he's not asleep. You hear the sort of papers being rustled in there. And in the cabin at the end, in the sister's cabin, you can just make out hushed conversation, but you can't really hear what was being said. And anyway, it is in French, which I believe Morgan does not speak.
Indeed.
But yeah, other cabins seem... Actually, one other cabin you can hear a muffled voice behind is Maddie's cabin. Sounds like she's talking to someone. You can't really make out what she's saying.
Not so much been true. Can't imagine she's talking. We won't be able to hear something new. I speak a little louder. I think the sisters are awake though.
Are you talking to Mortimer here?
Yeah, to Mortimer.
Didn't catch that. I was probably busy in a book. What did you say?
I just two sisters seems to be awake.
So that ties in with what I suspect. Any info about any of the other passengers? Did you find out anything? As you're wandering around, any of them asleep or awake, or?
There is one of the people just on the other hand, this one seems to be awake, but like problem sleeping, like he's reading something. Like
Could be the young lad who thought he saw a ghost.
yeah, that's possible.
Is that the same person who had all the papers spread out over the table as well?
It is indeed, yes.
Yes. I didn't notice what the papers were, but I remember there was someone with a load of papers on the table.
Yes, that was, yes. I think you have his name now. It's Timothy.
Timothy, yeah, that's it. And
Yes, who Maddie terrified with her ghost dress.
Bloody ghost dress.
Bloody ghost dress.
Well,
The rest seems to be asleep, and Maddie and the two sisters are the only others that are awake.
yeah, so the two sisters I still suspect, but we'll have to wait and see till everyone gets up. I don't think I'll be sleeping tonight. I've still been getting those weird dreams.
I will try to catch a little healing sleep. I will say it like that. But
Okay.
you know, if there is something, just call.
I will, dude. There's no problem with that. I mean, there's only a few hours left till sunrise, at least.
Okay. So, Mortimer's having a sleepless night. Probably so is Johan. Morgan, are you attempting to get any sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah. You get some sleep. Quite restful sleep as well. With, well, I won't say untroubled dreams. It's been quite a day.
Yeah.
And
just a regular night for me.
yes. Just the regular sort of dreams you expect to have after you've been attacked by an invisible blood-sucking creature. But morning comes, and you hear the sounds of people waking up and going about their morning routines, and the conductor coming round going, breakfast will be served shortly in the dining car. We're expecting to arrive into Munich in just an hour's time. If I could ask you, we won't be serving breakfast in the cabin this morning. If you would come to the dining car, that would be excellent, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry for any inconvenience caused. Morning, gentlemen. Breakfast will be served shortly in the dining car.
Morning.
And he
I feel like I'll have to stretch my legs a bit before breakfast.
gives a look to Morgan and lowers his voice and goes, we're going to have a look through the cabins whilst everyone's at breakfast.
Did you want me to join you for the look?
No, the staff can handle this, thank you.
Have you been told what you're looking for yet?
A statue, I believe.
It's a fragment of a statue, like a statue arm, like an arm of a statue.
Do you have any illustrations of it, perhaps?
I don't, unfortunately, but I can tell you it's a left-hand arm. It's very distinct. It's practically life-size. It's not something you'd miss. It was actually originally in a blue suitcase that Miss Carter had, but it looks like the suitcase has gone missing.
Blue suitcase. I see.
But strangely enough, Miss Carter seems to be missing a number of her dresses, which is a bit strange. I believe they may have been in the same suitcase.
Yes, she did mention that she had been unable to attend breakfast as she had no clothes left. I decided not to press the issue.
Yes, I believe the suitcase, she may have used some of her dresses as padding for said statue, and she's missing a fair amount of her wardrobe now.
Well,
We'll have to collect more dresses for her at the next stop, I believe.
yes, well, we should be in Munich a good while. We have a lot of matters to handle, but I think we will try and do a delicate search of the passengers' cabins. Obviously, we don't intrude too much into people's privacy.
It's best. You have a reputation to keep.
Yes, this is we've only recently started the full distance to Constantinople. We want to ruin things so far.
Yeah, you don't want to put a dampener on the reputation of the train as such. I mean, the death on the Orient Express is a bit much.
Let's not mention that too much. I don't want to
is that going to be
stress the other passengers
until the next stop?
I would prefer it wasn't mentioned if possible.
That makes sense.
Such accidents happen, medical incidents. mean, you're a doctor, you know.
Could have been a heart attack or something along those lines.
Exactly, but we don't want to cause alarm. Still a couple of days travel
But
to
anyhow.
Constantinople. We don't want to lose our passengers.
Thank you for your help, and I'm sure breakfast will be great. It has been on this journey so far.
Yes. Speaking of which, you didn't hear any other commotion last night. There seemed to be some kind of. Never mind. And he.
Timothy had mentioned something strange, but I'm not entirely sure. He seems a bit.
I think Mr. Rosewood is quite distressed by last night's.
Yes. He was telling us about a ghost or something past the.
Yes, I did tell him that this train has not been in operation anywhere near long enough to have accumulated a ghost.
I believe he saw something probably in the wind that had been blown past the window, more than likely.
Very, very likely, but anyway, yeah. So I said, breakfast is in the dining car, and hopefully this matter will be resolved shortly. We apologise for the inconvenience caused, gentlemen.
No trouble at all. And Mortimer will sort of stand up. He hasn't really changed, so he'll just clean himself up, or he probably would have beforehand, washed and got ready to make himself decent. And we did have to clean ourselves up after all the blood. I suspect we probably would have disposed of bloody clothes more than likely somehow.
I mean, there's apparently only one way to disturb him with bloody clothes, just flinging them out into the night. And
Could very well be exactly the same. At least the white shirts and that sort of thing. And Timothy probably sees all of them flying past every time.
someone who lives near this train track is just going to wake up this morning to find, like, a bunch of bloody clothes hanging off a tree.
Yes, in the middle of nowhere. But,
They're nice clothes, then it's a free clothes tree.
But he'll wander out into the area just outside the cabins, the corridor bit there, and just spend some time looking out one of the windows at the countryside moving past and making a note of which passengers have gone for breakfast and which ones haven't yet. And he'll hang on there.
Okay. As you're doing that, what are the other two doing?
Well, I'm assuming that Johann will have fallen asleep at some point, and the train personnel will have a hard time getting him awake for the breakfast. But he will just, make himself vaguely presentable, and then stumble out towards the dining hut.
Okay. And Morgan?
I'll take our dress up. I'll change my clothes as well because it was full of blood. I don't have many clothes left, so I think I'll be coming out with a white shirt, but with a waistcoat of the Black Watch. One I don't have put often, but this time it's one of the few clothes left I have, so I will put this on.
Okay. And you're going to breakfast?
Yeah.
So, the two of you head to breakfast. Mortimer's lingering a little. The other passengers all seem to be heading for breakfast. You see Dr. Walter and Lady Viola heading that way. Followed not long after by a rather tired-looking Timothy, Mr. Rosewood, who looks like he hasn't really slept at all and keeps sort of glancing nervously behind him. The two sisters follow after him, but are sticking close to each other. After that, Jean Basson, who you met briefly the other night, comes. You see him briefly exchanging words with the young German lady who got on at the same station as Wolfgang and Johann. And last of all, apart from you, Mortimer, heading towards the dining car, are the young couple, the Taylors.
Quick question.
Yes?
As everyone's wandering past, this arm is life-size, wasn't it? More or
Yeah.
less. There's no one who could have possibly concealed it on a person, I'm guessing. I was thinking
Give me a spot hidden.
women's dresses, for example, can be quite...
I mean,
yeah.
I would even check the men if somebody has a false hand, and would it replace it with the statue.
Extreme success.
an extremely success in inspecting ladies' dresses.
Basically, yes. As everyone, all the other guests or passengers are walking past, I'll sort of nod, say hello to them, sort of good morning and that, and check, not search them, but I'll have a quick look over whilst... Yes.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, based on a visual inspection,
Yes. That's all it's going to be. It's not going to...
you can't see anyone who looks like they're concealing something, either suitcase size or arm size.
Arm size.
Although, although the ladies are wearing skirts where theoretically you might be able to hide it under, but it'd be difficult with the...
Also, I'd notice if they were walking differently.
Yeah, you know it was heavy, and none of them seem to be walking as though they've like tied a very heavy
with an
ceramic
arm.
arm to their leg or something. Yeah, nothing.
That's
leaps
what I
out
wanted
as
to
suspicious,
check
yeah.
in case whilst the cabins were being searched, they'd actually taken the arm with them.
Yeah, you don't see any sign of that.
That's good. I'll just head towards the cabin as well for breakfast.
Okay. Yeah, so the only passengers missing this morning at breakfast from last night are Wolfgang and Maddie. Everyone else is present. And they sort of fall into sort of some familiar groups by now. Viola and Dr. Johnson are sat together, the couple together, the French sisters together. Timothy is sat on his own with what looks to be the strongest cup of coffee he could obtain. Jean is leant up at the bar, trying to persuade the morning person to put a bit of zhuzh up his coffee a bit this morning. And Fräulein Kirsch is in the corner, just seemingly reading a book.
I think Mortimer will probably go for a strong coffee as well, more than likely.
Quite the night, wasn't it? Basson.
Who was this, by the way? Is this Timothy or...
Jean Basson. This is the gentleman you encountered at the bar the other night. You had a little chat with him.
The trader, the import-export.
Yes, import-export. Yes, people running up and down the corridor online. Do you have any idea what that was about?
Wonder what happened. Do you have any idea what might have happened?
I only heard, well, the Englishman over there said there was a ghost, but he seems a little...
Rattled?
Yes.
Perhaps he had a bad night's sleep and, I don't know, some papers blew past the window and he just...
Lady Viola said something about there being a thief on board. I didn't get the details. And
Seems a bad idea to try and steal something on a train because you can't exactly escape.
exactly, it's a strange place.
I mean, you don't really have a effective route to get off the train with anything because once something's stolen, every cabin will be searched and everyone will be searched on leaving.
Exactly.
But, yes.
Well,
It does seem that we did hear a couple of people wandering past the cabin and... But,
no, I heard people running around. I think, but I try not to get involved in matters that are not my business.
it's always best to stay out of things like that.
Yes. Getting involved in other people's business is a quick way to end up dead. That's what I said.
Exactly.
Maybe it doesn't translate so well.
Oh, well. Message was there. It's usually best to stay out of things. Other people's business.
Indeed. And speaking of that, I'm going to take my coffee and take my leave.
Yes. Pleasure to meet you again.
Oh, sure.
And I'll take my coffee and have a wander over towards possibly Johan and Morgan if they're... I'm assuming just they might be at the same table, or more than likely.
Maybe, depending on whether McCrashley would have set himself to Johan. Because Johan would have probably sitting alone there. Just, breakfast, full table, full plate, and then coffee.
Yeah, Mortimer will head towards the same table that Morgan's at, whichever one that may be.
I would have joined Johan.
Hmm?
After what happened last day, I think it's the least we can do.
Fair. Good morning.
Morning. You been able to sleep?
Maybe half an hour.
It's already something.
I mean, that makes about 3 in total, I guess. Find anything more out? Or did you just, go to sleep after?
Just found that, I think a few of them were awake yesterday, chatting, but couldn't make out what it was. But a lot of them were asleep, just fast asleep. So I think the gentleman over there, Timothy, I think, he was still awake because but after what he thought he saw the ghost. I think it would be difficult for him to sleep.
It was pretty loud. So, I mean, there's multiple people running around up and down the train. I think it's more suspicious. I mean, either you're like sleeping through like a log, or if you're not hearing anything, that's kind of suspicious. Right? Either they're like fast asleep, or they're like awake because of stuff's being loud. But if I was a thief, or like whatever the fuck that was, not sure if you can, assign human motivations to that. I just hide and be silent and try not to get any sort of attention directed towards me. And I'm just looking around, trying to look. I mean, that's everybody here.
Yes.
So I'm trying to basically scan the people around me over.
Laura would probably do a similar thing. He wants to basically do a check to see if anyone's looking particularly suspicious this morning, which I suspect will probably be a psychology roll, more than likely.
Yeah, anyone trying to get the feel for their fellow passengers can make me a psychology roll here. Kind of everyone is sipping their tea and coffee, eating them.
I'm beginning to wish I put some points in this.
Mortimer, it's not really your area of expertise. Johan, you're a little better at reading people. You get a bit of a sense. I mean, the first thing you get a sense is there's a lot off about Mortimer. He does not seem entirely all there. Like, yeah. You get the idea that he just this is a man like a couple of steps from just going completely over the edge. Like, there's just this tension about him.
If anybody could do those things, then it's probably him. So I should probably find those books and check out what he's about.
But
He's the most suspicious one of them all.
yeah, you can see you're not the only one looking around. Lady Viola also seems to be over her tea, sort of scanning the room and looking at people.
That's her. Yeah.
In fact, the young couple seem entirely engrossed in each other, paying no attention to anyone else.
That checks out.
The sisters are whispering away to each other. Timothy keeps nervously glancing around. He seems shaken. Dr. Walter is conversing happily with Lady Viola, doesn't seem to be particularly paying much attention to generally what's going on. Jean is also kind of watching the room from over his cup of coffee. Sort of quietly keeping himself to himself.
Would I be able to make something out with a listen check?
Yeah, who are you trying to listen to?
It's a good feel, but I would have to listen to in general, the chit chat. I would have tried to listen in general. If I hear something that's special that's coming out, but with the fail,
You can just hear there's people talking, but you can't really make out individual conversations distinctly without getting much closer to sort of individual people. You can get sort of mingled chit chat in English and French and German, sort of mingled up together. But unless you essentially push that roll by going closer to particular groups of people, you don't really make out anything. If you want to push it, you can, Morgan.
I would like to push it by going to the bar maybe, and to the kitchen to get a coffee.
Who are you trying to listen to here?
Two sisters from first, but I think I will maybe the couple as well.
Okay. Yeah, you can roll again. This is a push list. If you fail this, they will notice that you're really trying to nosy in on them. So it's up to you whether you want to take the risk or not.
Yeah, of course. Always fun. Here it is. Up.
Okay.
Success.
As you pass by this bar, you pass by the sisters and the couple. The sisters, you catch a snatch of their conversation clearly. Mm-hmm. Do you speak French?
No, not enough, no.
No, they're talking to each other in French.
Okay.
The couple, however, are speaking English. And you hear a snatch of their conversation. Look, even if we're held up for hours in Munich, my husband is days behind us. There's no way that they'll catch up. I'm also concerned about that. I'm just more concerned that, if this policeman sniffing around asking questions, they're not asking questions about us. It's, I don't know, something was stolen, someone died. It's nothing to do with us. We just keep our heads down and carry on. Right. Look, darling, you worry too much.
I think Mortimer would have probably tried to eavesdrop on the two sisters that he suspects. And he does actually speak a little bit of French, not a great deal, but you never know.
Give me a listen roll, and if you succeed, give me a French roll.
Hard success.
Okay, so you can definitely hear what they're saying.
Failed a French.
Your French is enough to understand that they are discussing the commotion of last night. You catch something about someone being dead, maybe, or something being stolen, and people running around, but you don't get anything more specific than that.
Fair enough.
But yeah, they seem to be sort of discussing with each other what might have happened last night.
Okay. Get my coffee, and we'll come back to my table. And I will speak a little softly to both of them. It seems that a little couple are not a real couple, or can I say a legit couple, but they don't seem to be the culprit.
Runaways or something?
Excuse me?
Oh, yeah. You said something about them not being a proper legit couple?
I will come closer, and I was like, the lady there is married.
Oh, and not to the... Oh, I see. Makes sense. Though, pretty classy way to run away.
Definitely.
Okay. Do we have any particular suspicions about somebody? Because I'm right now thinking, who said there's just like a passenger? Might just be some of the... Yeah, you're overlooking the servants.
It's a very good point. You always overlook the servants.
So I'll try to, keep an eye out, make a mental list of the people that I've seen, serving stuff, cleaning stuff. Try to keep them in the picture as well, as they are like, they could just be, especially if it's about thievery, might just, be about money.
I was thinking about something you said. The only cabin was really silent were Marlene's cabin and Jean's cabin. Jean is dealing with artifacts with import-export.
So you know what that is?
What do you mean?
He'd know. If he's dealing with an export, right? That would mean
He could.
he's got the knowledge for that. Not to just want to discard Berlin Kish, but it's kind of, she's been, and unless like Wolfgang was like the target because he said a couple of things, he's a bit brash that way. I don't see how there's a connection. How's she behaving when I'm, looking at her at the whole thing?
Sat quietly on her own table, reading a book and finishing off. Well, she seems to have finished her breakfast at this point. I've pushed it to one side. Yeah, she looks to be reading a book. You can't really make out the title from here, but by the size of it, it looks more to be like a novel rather than like a big like tome or anything. It's like the kind of novel that you might expect young frivolous ladies to read.
Mills and Boon of the Victorian times.
Indeed. Well, the German Mills and Boons of the Victorian era.
Wouldn't even know whether you would call it the Victorian era outside of Britain.
Yeah, it's not strictly speaking the Victorian era, but for the simplicity's sake. Okay. The late... Yes, that is a fair point. The late 19th century.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we had there at that time. It's fine. It's something. So of the people that aren't like staff, Jean is the most likely one. Or, Miss Viola, because she's so brash and visible. Nobody would suspect her, right? Because everybody would see whatever she does. So, hiding in plain sight, basically.
Well, as you finish up your breakfast and muse this over, I think probably overdue a quick 10-minute break so I can go make a cup of tea and stretch my legs. And we'll be back in... Yes?
Oh, I was just going to ask, how many hours away are we from the next stop?
You're about half an hour away from Munich. But yeah, clock's ticking.
Exactly.
We'll see you in 10 minutes' time. After the little or big mid-roll. Actually, no. I think it's still officially 9 minutes and 50 seconds time. See you soon. I was watching the wrong screen. So, our investigators are currently investigating the theft of a mysterious artifact that they were transporting to Constantinople. Last night, it was stolen from Maddie's cabin, and you believe that one of your fellow passengers has taken it. You're currently all at breakfast, about half an hour out from your next stop, whilst the conductor was performing a search of the cabins. Around you, your other passengers are finishing up breakfast, tables are being cleared, like empty cups of tea being taken away, new cups being offered to those who just want a bit more. You see Jean Basson, your import-export gentleman, getting up and heading towards the carriage with the sleeping compartments. Everyone else is still lingering over breakfast. What would you like to do? You've got, as I said, about half an hour before you arrive at the next stop, which will be a long stop because there's a small matter of dead bodies to deal with.
Probably finish off breakfast, make sure I've got a very strong coffee, finish that off, and head towards the cabin and potentially chance to speak to the conductor.
Yes, the conductor's actually heading to find you as
The search has gone.
as you head that direction. You see, he goes, "We've not found anything that matches the description. No suitcase, no arm. We've
Wonder where it could have been hidden.
The cabins are not very big. We don't know. And we even got one of the maids to go through the ladies' suitcases. It's not there.
Very strange. Wonder where someone could have hidden it.
Are you sure you didn't? Are you sure it got on the train with you? You didn't. Sometimes luggage goes astray, at big stations. Maybe
Can do, but Miss Carter was adamant of keeping this in her luggage nearby.
Indeed. Well, we've done as much of a search as we can. We've got a couple of passengers getting off at Munich now, so we
There's nowhere
can't
else.
really hold people up any longer.
Of course, there's nowhere else in the cabin that something could be hidden.
Not that I know of, no.
Could it possibly have been, not to, throw shade on your staff, but might there be possibility that there's been people in situations where they need additional money, and if it had been some of your staff, could they have put it in other places that you could double check?
We can carry on searching. We've had a look through the staff compartments too, but this sounds like quite a large object. Not as though someone can simply hide it at the back of a drawer. But we will continue searching. And
Don't you have a storage like I do remember?
we have a luggage car for larger items of luggage, yes, but that's down the
And you have
far end of the train.
You do have the first class storage as well, no? In the Calais coach.
I don't know that we do.
Yep. Near where the conductor sits.
Oh yes, we have some storage for small items that need locking away, but it's not in there. We checked there. I was thinking more the larger compartments for large travelling cases and fold-out wardrobes, that manner of thing. But that's all the way down the train. Yeah, we'll carry on searching, but we can't. We already have a lot of matters to attend to.
Do you know which passengers are meant to be leaving at the next station?
Yes. Let me consult the Dupont sisters and Monsieur Basson.
Sorry, who was the last person you mentioned?
Monsieur Basson.
Oh, that was interesting because he told me he was heading for the whole journey.
I only know what I'm told by. We don't stop passengers from getting off the train whenever they wish.
During my first conversation with him, he mentioned he was heading towards Constantinople.
I believe he had a ticket all the way, but has refunded the latter part of his journey. Change of plans, apparently.
That's
How convenient.
But anyway, as I have a lot to. I apologise, gentlemen.
You do. You have a lot of work.
Let's get back to work. And he heads on his way.
Dr. Davenport was the name, right? Is there a potentially superstitious way of hiding stuff in plain sight? I mean, if they can't find it, it might just be invisible or hidden in some sort of hole.
These sort of things, but I was under the impression I suspect this gentleman might be a smuggler. Thoughts. It wouldn't surprise me if he works in import and export, that he knows of how to hide items.
He just left for his cabin, no?
Yeah, he did.
Let's just greet him off, would we?
But it's strange that he had told me on the first conversation that he's actually heading towards Constantinople for the whole journey. Now suddenly he's getting off at the next stop.
Reason more to confront him then.
Has he returned to his cabin, or is he still in the...
Yeah, he'd returned to his cabin.
Returned.
Sounds like he's packing his bag. You can hear movement in his cabin.
We could always pay him a visit, see how he's...
Sure.
He did mention about a lot of noise last night, people up and down the corridor.
So he's the one that asked about the noise, which is, something that would automatically show you have no idea what happened. So you're asking, right? Even if you're the one that did all the noise.
Yes.
He's the one who was silent in his cabin. He's the one who changed his travel.
Sure. Yeah, let's just go and confront him a little.
Okay, so the three of you going to John's cabin.
It's actually something I need to do beforehand, but I'll catch up with you. Just need to write a short note. I'll only be a moment, don't worry about it. There's something I've written, I've forgotten to seal a letter. I'll only be a short time, don't worry. I'll catch up. Because I believe his cabin's further along. I'll be literally 30 seconds behind you, don't worry.
Sure. Sus.
As we're walking along, he's going to pop into his and Morgan's cabin briefly.
So you're letting the other two go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I will go ahead and knock on Mr. Jean Basson's door.
A moment. Yes.
Oh, it's the Johan Wilhelm speaking. I was
Come in,
having
sir. I'm just putting the last few things in my case.
No, you're heading off for Munich.
Yes. Change of plans. How can I help
What
you?
happened? What happened? I was just wondering something. I thought you to have overheard you speaking about going to Constantinople, and then
yes, I was going
suddenly
to.
after the events of yesterday evening, you're disappearing.
Well,
basically.
yes, there seems there's a thief on the train, and I think it's best not to linger in the vicinity. I don't want anything I'm, carrying to be stolen.
Oh, I can completely understand that, and I'm just gonna close the door behind me.
Continue this. Is Morgan in there as well? Yeah, it's two of you. I think it's best to continue this journey in a safer form of transit, where I don't need to keep my eyes peeled at every moment. Also, it was quite an expensive ticket, so if you can refund half of it,
I see. I'm just wondering, because you're the only one that's reacting like that, and there's you know that person that boarded the train with me, Wolfgang.
Yes, your friend. I didn't see him at breakfast. Is he all right?
Is he now? No, he seems to have suddenly departed in the middle of the night.
He left the train in the middle of the night?
He departed this mortal coil in the middle of the night. And not in a sort of normal way. And suddenly, you're the only one suddenly leaving, trying to get away from here.
He takes a couple. He tries to back away from you, but this is quite a small cabin, so he only gets
I'm not the person that's
window.
letting them back away.
As I said, there's nowhere for him to back away. There's already 3 people in a small cabin.
So I would really, really like you to have a really good explanation, because I'm not really having a great time right now.
I have no idea what you're on about.
I know one thing, laddie. I don't think you're going to go off in Munich. I think you're going to go all the way with us to Constantinople.
You're accusing me of murdering your friend in the night? This makes no sense.
No, I'm accusing you of murdering and thieving.
How's his reaction going? Is he just...
Give me a psychology roll, please. Yeah. Mortimer, at this point, you're outside the door. The door's been closed, but you can hear there's a conversation going on inside the cabin.
That's okay. I'll just mention what I was doing quickly, because I believe the week the week we were shopping in the city, he was getting items together to send back to his sister and family. So he's probably prepared a letter for his sister, which what he would have done in this brief moment was taken his wedding ring as such and put it in the envelope and sealed the letter addressed to his sister, and sealed the envelope with a wax seal, but he'll leave that on his bunk on the off chance in
case something goes
wrong.
wrong.
Happens and he loses his mind, at least something might reach his sister would know what happens if he's sending his wedding ring back.
Okay. So yeah, you're probably coming up to the door at this point in the conversation.
I'll sort of just eavesdrop.
You're on the other side of the door as
I'll probably just give it a curt knock and just...
Johan, you can tell a couple of things. Like, at first you think, yeah, he just seems genuinely confused. Like, first. But there's an undercurrent of something else. Like, the way his eyes flick to the door, flick to Morgan, he's sizing the pair of you up. And as he's talking, as he's backed up against the wall, like, he's backed up into a corner, but there's a tension and alertness to him. He's almost like he's ready to spring and pounce at like a moment's notice. Like he knows that this situation is dangerous, and he is ready to fight if needed. You get that sense, and you also get the sense that he knows a lot more than he's letting on.
Before I was speaking to Johan and Willem, I would have C4 spot hidden, because he was packing, so maybe he hadn't had the chance to take something out, or...
Yeah, give me a spot hidden roll. This is all in the moment. Mortimer's outside the door. Johan is there sort of accusing, like, murder and theft. Like, this makes no sense. You're insane, man. You're insane. What you can see, Morgan, is based on where his hand is resting on the inside of his jacket, he's got a gun. He is armed.
Okay.
Morgan has seen that.
I have seen that.
Yes, you were the one. That's what you caught sight of. There's no kind of the suitcase or the arm.
I'm going to provoke him, like, hey laddie, do you think you can use that? What you were hiding in your jacket?
I'm looking at his jacket.
I'm speaking to Mr. Bazon.
Yeah. I'm looking at Mr. Basson's jacket.
He has a gun hiding there.
Well, yes, he pulls it out now. Yeah.
And
the
I pull
gentleman must be ready to defend himself.
And I put my gun out.
You don't have your gun. You dropped it down a sewer in Paris.
I've got a few. I told that I repacked.
You did explicitly say you dropped your guns down a sewer grate when you were running away in Paris.
Yeah, but
you have your large knife.
Got my large knife, but I thought I said that I would pick other guns, but okay, no problem. Mate, you're going to have to be really quick.
Hey.
If you want to get out.
But you'll have to be quicker.
Yeah, you have. So first you have to go through me, then through this man here, and I'm sure the dear doctor.
I'm just pulling the rapier and I'm stabbing him.
Okay. Okay.
He's clearly been up to shit.
What is Johann's dexterity?
55.
Because bear in mind, he does have a readied gun.
Yep.
Okay, so a couple of things all sort of happen in the same instance. So let me just get everyone's dex down here. Sean, Johan. How quick off the mark is Morgan? It's all sort of happening in one instant, but what is your dexterity, Morgan?
70.
Okay. And you are outside the door, so you won't realise until after the moment, but what is Mortimer's, just for reference?
At 50. He was waiting until things either escalated or...
taking
things, so he's going to miss the first.
So, a couple of things happen simultaneously, almost. Johan pulls out his rapier. A gunshot rings out through the cabin. And, Johan, you can carry on, sort of pulling your sword, or you can try and dive for cover from the gunshot. the choice is yours.
I'm carrying on.
Okay, he will have a bonus because this is close quarters. Oof!
Oh, my friend, my friend, my friend.
Ooh. That is a 67 on his gun, which is not enough. The shot goes off, but it does not hit you. As this gunshot rings out, Morgan, you have an instant to act.
I'm going to stab the hands who hold the gun.
Okay, if you're trying to specifically aim for that arm, I'm going to give you a penalty. Or you can just aim generally for him with a normal roll.
Okay, I will aim. I will aim normally then.
Just kind of trying to slash at him with a knife.
Yeah.
Ah, you miss.
And
Mortimer.
I'm going to.
Oh, that's 1 point of luck. Yes.
Yeah,
Roll
I'm
me the
going to-
damage of that knife. Go for it.
So 23, and the damage is, I'm going to roll up 1d8 plus 1d4.
Yeah, 1d8, 1d4. A lot of damage.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, or it would be sometimes. That is. Oh. 4. Okay. What is that? A bloody slash. Mortimer, outside the door, you hear a gunshot. In fact, you possibly see as through the cabin of the train, a bullet comes just hits the opposite wall of the carriage outside.
I'll just sort of peek through the door. I'll cautiously just open it and see what's going on.
There's a fight going on inside. People, blades swinging in this enclosed space.
Well, I'll have to get involved. Has anyone been injured so far? Other than
Yes, Jean has been injured.
he has been.
Yes. You've got a split second to make a decision.
I'll kick him in the balls.
Okay, so you're going to try and barge into the room. Bear in mind that this is very crowded in here.
Oh, that's a very good point. I suspect I probably wouldn't be able to get if the two of them are.
Yeah, he's at the far end of the room and those two are in between, so you're going to have a challenge to get through to him into close quarters.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to hit him. If he was close enough, I would have struck him, but I've got to get through the other two to get to him.
Does he still have his gun?
Yes, he's still got his gun.
Couldn't take him off then. Okay.
Yeah, he's still got his gun.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that Mortimer can do, so he'll probably have just opened the door and probably hold his action. He can't.
Yeah, you open the door, staring at the scene of chaos.
Just ready to die.
Another gunshot rings out as this time he's aiming for Morgan as the clearly bigger threat. The knife-wielding Morgan, you can try and dive for cover with a dodge roll, or you can stand your ground and hope he misses.
No, I'm going.
He's got a bonus die because it's close quarters still, so dodge or hold your ground.
I'm going to dodge then.
Okay, you will forfeit your next action if you dodge. If you're trying to duck for cover from a gunshot, that forfeits your next action.
And if I stay my ground, what do I need to roll then?
You don't roll. It's just whether he hits you or not.
You know what? I'm going to, because it's close quarter. I don't have the going to keep it normal. I cannot really dodge it, so I'm going to stay my ground.
Okay. Oof. You are getting lucky here. Another bullet goes astray. He's bleeding. He's a little panicked. His aim misses, and another bullet misses you entirely. Yeah. And it is your turn, Morgan. What are you doing?
I'm going to take his hand where the gun is, put it aside, and hit him. I'm going to take my knife to the other side, like this. It's in the fist. Take his gun and going to hit him on the face.
Okay. So what is your aim here? You're just trying to.
To knock him out.
Damage, or you?
To knock him out.
This is a fighting brawl then.
Yeah.
He is going to try and dodge out the way of this.
Come on. Ah, there it is. Up. Roll.
So his success beats your success because he's dodging. He dodges sideways out the way of your fist. Over to Johan.
I'm still trying to stab the guy.
Okay. He now has a penalty die on trying to dodge because he is outnumbered.
God damn it.
But doesn't actually matter because you failed to hit him. Background, top of the round, more to it. You can hear the sound of running feet from the next carriage, but it's going to take them a little moment to get here. Sounds like someone's been alerted by this sound of gunshots.
Yeah. I think there'll be a lot of people heading this way soon. I'm trying to think now. With the amount of dodging going along, people have probably moved a bit to leave.
Ducking and weaving. He's dodged around a little bit. You could try and get a blow in towards him if you want.
Yeah, I'll go for my first instinct, kick him in the balls. Gentlemanly. I haven't got a weapon, so it's that or magic.
Go for it. He's got penalty to try and dodge out the way because he's...
So just fighting brawl?
Yeah, fighting brawl.
Nice.
Ooh!
Nice.
He dodges again. It's still a success on his behalf. That's a 10, definitely. You're getting the impression this is a slippery bastard.
It looks that way.
Ducking and weaving, he's still got his gun in his hand with still some bullets in the chamber. And he's trying to make it, essentially, past you towards the door, sort of. But the room is too crowded to do so, so he's going to try and take another shot at... No, Morgan's still the one that wounded him. Morgan is still...
And I'm technically on him, you know, so...
Up there in his
The most intimidating
face.
person there.
Are you going to try and duck for cover or not?
No, if I do something is hit him again because
Okay.
I know he's
This time, he actually manages to hit you. That's a 30. That is a success on his behalf. As the shot rings out, and I need to actually check the damage on this gun. 1d10. That is 3 points of damage to Morgan. It is your turn. It's got 3 bullets down.
So I'm going to hit him again. Like
Okay.
I'm really pissed.
Alright, trying to just punch him, right? Fighting brawl.
And I'm going to pay the luck again to manage
Yep.
it.
This time, that's a look. That's a success from you, but a success from him again. That's the way the rules of dodging works. It's, as long as he keeps succeeding on his... Actually, is that? Yeah, that's a success. As long as he keeps succeeding on his dodge rolls. That's good enough. You need a hard success to hit him.
And how much do I need to hard success?
You need to bring it down to 35.
Yeah,
So-
35. Okay, that's what
Yeah.
that was my question. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Alright, Johan, over to you.
Stab,
Trying to
stab,
it.
stab, stab, stab.
You can...
I'm gonna use the luck for that.
Okay.
That's 9 luck. That's fine.
Oof. 278 on his roll. That is a failure on his dodge. Roll me the damage from your rapier. As you hear...
That is d6.
Yeah, I think so.
That's 6 damage.
Oof. He gives a stagger back as like clutching at his side. Like, still conscious. Still just about... He slumps slightly to one side, like blood pooling through his clothes. He's still alive, but he is badly wounded.
Now explain to me why.
Morgan, what are you doing? You can now hear the sound of like the conductor and other stuff like about to enter the carriage. They're about to be there any second.
Would it be Mortimer this time?
Mortimer, sorry, that is what I intended to say.
Yeah, it's okay. Too many M's.
Too many M's.
Still. Okay, the guy looks in a bad way, I'm guessing.
He's in a very bad way, yes.
Okay, I'm going to try and talk him down. Basically, stop this nonsense. We're not trying to kill you. Why the hell are you shooting at us? And I need to patch you up just before you bleed out.
Help! Help! These men attacked me!
I'm going to back you up, don't worry. Just
help!
And I'll try and restrain him.
Okay, give me a fighting brawl.
Yeah, if he's not receptive to me trying to talk him down, I'll just try and restrain him without harming him, like pin him down basically, without causing any further injury.
He does not.
No,
he kind
that's
of
enough.
bats you off. You hear the door at the end of the corridor open, and you hear the conductor's voice. What's going on?
I don't know, it's outside this cabin and there's a load of gunshots.
These men, they broke into my cabin. He stabbed me. He's got a knife.
And you got a gun.
I was defending myself.
No, you were defending yourself. You had the gun from the right way.
Whilst this conversation's going, Mortimer's going to try and do first aid.
Like this is still a very enclosed space.
I'm going.
Yeah. On who?
On who's been injured so far?
Morgan and Jean.
Well, actually, I'll try and first aid Morgan first, being that he's a good friend of mine. And
yeah. So you're trying to give medical attention. Jean is busy pointing at Morgan and Franco and sort of scolding loudly.
The latter one's going to be harsh.
Where's Franco?
I was doing so well.
He's probably just outside the window.
Johan and Morgan go, they burst into my cabin, accused me of theft, murder, and then stabbed me.
Mr. Start to shoot.
I had to try and defend myself. I had to.
Listen, mates. I'm working for Scotland Yard. I'm from the Black Watch. I don't need to shoot you. I don't need to aggress you. But you, mister, you start to shoot at us. So it's normal.
Give me a fast talk roll, please, Morgan.
Oh, not intimidate, no?
I mean, well, is this aimed at him, or is this aimed at the fact that there are trained staff here who are witnessing all of this?
I know.
What are you trying to do here? What's your goal?
I don't have a goal. I'm just saying what I can, and I don't have a role. I just say what's true, actually. So.
I mean, you're not currently working for Scotland Yard, no.
I'm a PR for Scotland Yard. That was in my bio from
You're
start
not
out.
currently working for Scotland Yard.
Normally,
are here with Maddie to carry an arm to Constantinople.
But that's why I say I worked. I worked for Scotland Yard. I say.
I mean,
and for the Black Watch.
So, are you trying to appear as an authority figure in this situation?
Yeah, indeed.
So, give me a fast talk roll, please.
Damn it.
Trying to bluff your way out of trouble.
Nah.
The conductor, you see him going. You hear the train whistling as it's pulling into Munich station now at this moment. Going, gentlemen, everyone, put down your weapons, your knives, your guns, please.
I'll pull my rapier and clean it off, and just casually, nonchalantly say, I mean, you were the one that put the gun first.
Call the police.
Perfect.
I only pulled the gun because they burst into my cabin, accusing me of he stabbed me, and then
poor little boy. I stabbed you. Oh, poor little boy. You didn't shoot.
Clear the cabin, please. Can we have some space in here? Like, you start waving all of you apart out into the corridor to try and open things out a bit. Sir, please put down the knife.
No, it's already down.
Oh, good. Step away from it.
I put it already in this sheet back. As nothing happened.
Please hand over your weapons, please. I don't want any further incidents. And Jean hands over his gun, still clutching his side.
How many bags has he got packed up in this room?
Two suitcases.
Just normal size, I'm guessing.
One's normal size, one's quite small.
As in, the one normal size is the only one that could possibly hold the arm.
Could it? Yeah, it could technically fit the arm. Yes.
You wouldn't be able to fit it in the small suitcase.
No.
Whilst we're there, I'm just going to open that suitcase, the one that looks as if it could fit the arm in.
It appears to be some folded shirts, trousers.
I'm not going to buy
books. You can just see You can just see it at first sight. Yeah, appears to be a suitcase full of luggage.
Oh, that's the point. I would have had to have moved it, to put it on the bunk to.
Yeah, it wasn't that heavy.
Wasn't that heavy? As soon as I've done it, I'll close it back
and he's carrying on his. I mean, you've spoken to him before, and he definitely seems very overwrought in this moment compared to how he was acting before.
Yes.
Sort of exfoliating the cone to how terrible it was that these thieves and rogues have broken into his cabin and accosted him.
I'll just keep putting the blame of Wolfgang's death on him. On him.
Are you trying to persuade onlookers of his involvement here? What's your goal?
I mean, the conductor is thinking that this is not like a murder, right? So I'm trying to make this like an extension of the death of Wolfgang, to try basically having this be like an emotional overreaction and not something that actually needs police involvement.
Okay.
And more like, a doctor and some therapy.
I'm gonna say this is either a fast talk, a charm, or maybe a persuade. It's one of those grey area ones. Like you're not.
I think I would go.
Exactly like it's still sort of fast talk, but.
If I had to choose between charm and fast talk, I'd take charm. Fast talk.
Say you're appealing on a personal level, yeah. Charm could work, yes.
I mean,
Mortimer, are you doing anything to try and lower the chances of you all being thrown in jail?
Yeah, I'll be trying to patch him up to stop him bleeding out, because he did take quite a few unpleasant hits. I'll be trying to patch him up, and I'll probably talk to him much the same way Johan is, to try and understand why he started shooting.
So sorry, Johan, was your sort of efforts directed at Jean or at the onlookers?
I'm going for the onlookers. I'm trying to make this whole situation seem like me overreacting because of my friend's death.
Okay, yeah.
And not
seems to be winning over as this conductor goes. Okay, so
I'll probably play on that a bit with regards to trying to calm this gentleman. Well, sort of charm him, I suppose, because I'm not being deceptive in any fashion. I am genuinely trying to find out why the hell he started firing so quickly at these people. And I will mention.
Give me a roll.
Which do you want first? The first aid to treat him, or
your choice?
So I'm trying to patch him up at the same time as.
He actually will allow you to.
He will allow me to patch him.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were with them.
I arrived after they did as well.
Yeah, I mean, the first time before the onlookers were there, he didn't let you, but now.
But
the audience.
That's true. When the
Yeah, go ahead, make a roll.
Extreme success on the first aid roll.
Okay. Yeah, so he's getting. Morgan, when Mortimer was trying to patch you up, he didn't seem to be trying his hardest. He's reserving his full efforts for this lying bastard.
So isn't that 1 point?
Yes. actually make a difference
And
on that.
I'll try a charm roll. Effectively, I'm trying to find out, to sort of calm him down a bit and to understand why he overreacted.
I mean, if you're trying to understand him, that would be more of a psychology roll.
Oh, I'm trying to convince him to explain why he was so keen to start shooting at him.
Well,
They did arrive after they did as well.
but he knows you're travelling with Morgan.
He does.
Yes. Like, he spoke to you both at the bar. He knows you're travelling together.
True. So, would you allow a charm or not?
I would allow it, but I would say it is going to be hard here.
Fair enough. Only just on the dot, so not enough.
The conductor's still easing out. Goes, thank you. This isn't the best. This is the worst journey I've had. Look, I don't care if you're with Scotland Yard. We're not in Scotland anymore, or London, or wherever.
Listen, I don't want to know. You have
jurisdiction here.
Yeah, but you have a murder on your hands, sir, and you have done nothing.
He's not dead. It's not a murder yet.
No. Yeah,
it's still
of course.
just an attack.
The friend
You have
of
to
our.
pray that it doesn't become a murder.
Yeah, of course, the friend of Johan here is not dead and has not been murdered, of course.
He was not. That was. I'm sorry.
That was not what?
You're suggesting
you
that this man murdered him by how?
With a gun.
He wasn't
With
shot.
something, with something else, I don't know. But you have somebody with a gun here on your deck. Somebody who's changed after a murder, who changes state. Listen, if you want to
We'll
go,
have you with a knife.
yeah, of course. I always have a knife. I always have a gun as well. So that's my job.
Why were you in this gentleman's cabin?
Because I wanted to ask him why he was leaving early, and he started to shoot at us.
Okay, that's your story. Sir, what happened? So you claim you just came to ask him questions and he started shooting you?
Of course, he was hiding his gun. I asked him if he could use it, because I know he was hiding it, and he pulled it out, and he started shooting.
No, that's not at all what happened.
Oh,
I was
right.
just minding my business, packing my case. I was just putting the gun I carry for personal protection. It's sometimes dangerous travelling. Putting the gun in my bag when these gentlemen burst in, talking all sorts of nonsense, and he was waving a knife and then he stabbed me. So I did what anyone would do in that circumstances. I defended myself.
Listen, you're going to lose because there is a lot of people who knows me and they know that I'm not attacking at first. Oh, it did happen a few times, but not here.
So I guess
Morgan,
I'm going to tell
master
you.
at not incriminating himself.
Perfect, right? So I guess then it's time for my side of the thing, right? I mean, admittedly, I might have come off a bit harsh, suspecting you to have something to do with my friend's death. But you were hiding that gun in your pocket, and when he was saying that there's a gun in your pocket, and I looked at it, you were pulling it and pointing it at me. I might have gone off a bit too strong, but I wouldn't have pulled a weapon on some unarmed person. So that's not the reaction of somebody that hasn't got something to hide. Just saying, but okay.
And you said...
You see, I didn't stab the first one.
And you said, Dr. Davenport, how are you involved in this mess?
This is a bit of a confusing mess. I was just outside the cabin when I heard gunshots. I believe these two gentlemen wanted to ask him why he was leaving so early, considering he had paid for the whole journey. It was rather suspicious, so if they wished to ask him about it, I was outside the cabin and then I heard gunshots, so I opened the door and I saw a fight going off, and I tried my best to restrain the gentleman and avoid everyone's injuries becoming too much for them, but that's as much as I can tell.
Right, so look, the way I see it, and the conductor kind of looks around and almost sort of lowers his voice, and this was a terrible misunderstanding. Tensions being high after what happened last night.
It does seem that way.
And perhaps we could find a resolution of this which doesn't involve the local police. Being that, we'd quite like to keep this train moving and not be held up here any longer than necessary. Might I offer a small suggestion? The train company will, of course, offer Monsieur Besson suitable compensation for this incident. He will depart the train and receive appropriate medical attention here at his destination. And will not file a report with the local police.
I'm fairly certain that no one here wants the police involved. It'll hold the train up for a start. And there's a lot of people who want to get to it. And there's a lot of people, you have to keep the train moving.
We do. And we lay this matter to rest. There's a terrible misunderstanding.
It seemed to have been one. I'm not entirely sure what happened.
I think no one's had a good night's sleep. Everyone's a little stressed. And
it does seem that way.
But in return, we ask people to stop carrying rapiers and knives around the train. Also, we have a strict no guns policy, Monsieur Besson. You should not have had that on board. But in light of your current situation, we will not make a deal of it. Gentlemen, are we all accepting of that?
I'm fine with that.
And having checked myself, I can assure you there's no sign that Mr. Besson has the item you're in search of. It's not amongst his belongings.
No. Not at all.
Does he have other luggage somewhere else?
He has other luggage in the luggage car, but we can check that before he departs the train.
Who else was departing the train at this stop? Was it the...
No.
The
No one
two
on the-
sisters, the Dupont sisters.
The two sisters were as well. Are their luggage likely to be checked as they leave to ensure...
We've checked all the
There were.
personal items. They had nothing larger in the hold. Carried them. What's the word? Luggage car.
Yes.
But the Dupont sisters have already disembarked.
Oh. So,
Well, I trust they have, or are in the process of, whilst hopefully before. Luckily, most of the other passengers are in the dining car, so hopefully the gunshot sounds did not reach them. We will explain it as engine noises.
I was just going to suggest the same thing.
Mama, look, is that agreeable to all, gentlemen? He looks around. Jean gives kind of a wink of like, yes, I must see that my cargo departs the train. I have some valuable art pieces from Paris in there. Must see that makes it off the train safely before I find the doctor.
Where was the statue from again?
Originally.
No, not originally. Just like this. Stop. I'm not sure.
Paris. From Paris. We embarked in Paris.
So you would say it's an art piece. Never mind. You know what?
Look, other people, it's not the only, whatever it is of yours that has been stolen, this is surely not the only piece of art to ever leave Paris. You
Probably
can come
not.
yourself and look at the paintings that I am carrying.
No, but
I
you're the only
assure
one
you.
leaving the train.
Let's just leave this here. This does not help anybody, and I might have just seen stuff at night that was just, to
If
The chaotic night.
where is your
chaotic.
evidence for these accusations? This is all based on circumstance and hearsay.
And a lot of misunderstanding, it seems.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give him my hand, like in a sort of handshake wise. Let's just leave this behind us, and I'll just put so much strength in that handshake that he knows that I'm still pissed at him. They still believe that I'd rather have him killed.
Yeah, and from this angle where the conductor can't see his face, you see this little. I see for a moment the mask of like, oh woe is me slips, and you see this little like sort of almost return glare of yeah.
Good.
I still want to kill you.
Fine. Well, let's leave this behind us then, shall we?
And unless anyone wants to say anything else or intervene, the conductor sort of helps John away, kind of glancing back over his shoulder at you, like.
I'd offer my help with luggage, I suppose, because he is a bit injured. He's going to need assistance.
Yeah, his current cases, yeah.
I'll be writing a letter in the meantime.
Whilst I think the small suitcase, how small is it?
It's more like a little. I want to say valise, but I think I'm making that word. I'm not sure if that word means what I think it means, but it's just like a little case for books and papers.
I'm just thinking whether I had an opportunity to check in that before we.
Make me a look roll. We'll see.
Luck roll.
Yeah.
Whilst let's see.
Are you feeling lucky? No, in the you could check it, but someone's going to see you
It'd
going
be
through
obvious.
it.
Yeah.
Like as he's leaving the train, you see his other items being unloaded from the luggage car. They do look to be essentially picture frames wrapped up in brown paper and string. Morgan, what are you doing?
I'm not doing nothing. I just watch the guy, see what he does, and be sure remember his name. And before I leave, I give my knife to the conductor and say, "Next time there is a murder, be sure you have the knife. Like this, I can use it on the murderer. All right?"
We're not expecting any more. We're not. There hasn't been a murder.
Yeah, you there is a murder, there is somebody dead, but you leave never mind, I'm going off.
Nobody wants a murder on the Orient Express.
Exactly. That would be ludicrous. But yeah, he takes the knife and sort of stows it away. He's also taking care of Johann's rapier. You will return to you when you leave the train, but.
Oh, sure. I don't mind.
We just don't want any more accidents.
I can completely understand. I was not in my right mind.
I know what happened to your friend, but I assure you, it wasn't a murder. At least I don't think it was.
He had these weird marks on his. It looked not natural. It's kind of. It's fine. It's fine. There will be a doctor that can explain to me later. Once I still have to go to Constantinople, but I'll write I'll just take my time, write a letter to his family. Yeah, maybe a couple other ones. Yeah, if you'd excuse me, and I'll just go to my chamber, write a letter to Wolfgang's family, but also write a letter. I really didn't like that guy. And I'm gonna use my supernatural power called money. I'm gonna order somebody to hire a PI and snoop behind that guy and try to find out every little dirty secret that he has.
Okay, so you're hiring a secret. You're hiring a PI to sleep out everything there is to know about Jean Basson.
Exactly. I'm gonna have every single stone turned about, and I'm going to ruin him afterwards.
Where is it we've stopped? Is it Munich or
Munich.
Munich.
Munich? Is the train going to be stopped here for some time?
A few hours, yes.
A few hours, so enough time for us to
Till
leave
lunchtime.
the train to make a purchase and return,
Yes.
perhaps?
Dresses can be bought. Other purchases can be made. Letters can be sent.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, Mortimer, what he'll try and do, because Miss Carter's, I'm not sure whether she would have left at this point to purchase additional
She hasn't got any
dresses.
appropriate dresses. She can't go anywhere.
I think then, in which case, Mortimer would have tried to shop and find some for her.
Yep, you can spend this time shopping for dresses. That's no difficulty at all.
Definitely not in Munich. It's probably the easiest place to find dresses.
And does anyone else have anything they want to be doing during this time until the train heads off again?
Going to send a telegram to my colleagues, former colleagues of the Blackwatch, who are experts in export. So my dear former colleagues, ask if they know something about this Mr. Bazin.
Okay, so how long would a telegram take? I'm trying to think if you would be able to get a response before the train leaves. I don't think.
Well, they might have like another station or the next stop where you could get a return.
Yeah, if you tell them. I
The
look
John
at
Distance-
Telegram speed and it does not help because it's 8 ways to download Telegram onto your phone fast.
LTE
Yes.
really isn't the good that time.
Yeah, it's going to take some time, but hopefully by the time you get to the next stop, they might have a response for you.
All right.
But in fact, now you're out of the heat of the moment. Give me an intelligence roll. It's you. No, that's all right.
Would it be
That's-
with Mortimer doing what as well because of being a
Yeah,
smuggler?
yeah, you know, Morton, yeah.
Is a
Doc.
smuggler.
Doc, I'm still bleeding, by the way.
I can do a medicine roll.
If you got time, if you take but he's gone. The doctor's gone shopping. He's left you bleeding and gone shopping for dresses.
I know. he
Education roll for the smuggling side of things.
Yeah, actually that would work. Yeah, education.
Which one?
Education actually would probably.
Oh,
I
I'd go
always
for
forget that
education.
education is there for knowledge.
There you go. That's why I went for.
As you're shopping for dresses, as you're sort of returning back to the tree, it's getting near lunchtime. You sort of spent some time thinking over old acquaintances and names. It's not a name you know well. It's not someone who's familiar to you. But Basson, it's possibly a name that's come up in relation to smuggling of artifacts through France before. Like, he's definitely that sort of import-export person.
Someone in
He's
the, yeah,
got some
I
history.
got that impression initially when I first met him, but now I'm certain of it.
Yeah, mostly high-value art items, if you remember rightly. But nothing... He's not like a major name.
No. But
Yeah.
nothing I'm particularly concerned about. Nothing esoteric.
Nothing esoteric as far as you were aware.
That's okay.
To
Everyone
be
has
fair,
to
at
make
the
their
time
money
that
one way.
his name cropped up was probably before you were aware of the esoteric, so you weren't asking about it. This was back in the day.
That's true. But
He's been around for a while.
yes. Chances are, when he returns after his shopping trip, he'll try and catch up Morgan a bit better than he has. So, medicine, I don't know if he'd have time to do a medicine roll
I
too.
mean, you've got time if the train's pulling off, heading for its next
I've only tried the first stage, so
essentially, if you're willing to take, it's more a matter of time and resting up, and that Morgan is not happening in the heat at the moment. But even so, this.
I'll spend the 5 luck though to succeed in that.
Okay, is that 1d3? If I remember rightly.
So it'll be 1d3. I'll roll that, but at least it means he probably won't.
Yeah, you can lay him down on the bed, give him a proper medical attention.
Do.
As the train pulls away, without not Johann, without Wolfgang's body. Sorry, I killed off the wrong one. You're dead now. And without Jean Besson, the definitely innocent French smuggler. As the train pulls away, heading onwards to Constantinople, you're still no closer to actually finding the arm. But, unless you have any other clues or lines of inquiry you want to investigate as the train pulls away, I think we may leave things off here for tonight. You avoided getting arrested for attack, but you found someone who's definitely involved, but is a slippery bastard.
Someone involved with something.
He's involved. But yes, you're of the passengers you are familiar with. In fact, actually, they're probably not going to put. Here's just the conductor not putting any more passengers in this carriage. It's like, no. Just no. Bad things happen there.
The conductor's had a bad time.
Yes, so. But there's still. Lady Viola, Dr. Johnson, poor Timothy, Marlena, and the young couple of definitely newlyweds, along with you as the train trundles onwards across Europe, heading for its destination. And will it get there? We'll find out next week.
You know what's funny? There's still a dueling pistol in Johann's luggage. So just in case, One-shot flintlock.
Well, there's still actually a gun, a rapier, and a knife in the first class luggage storage compartment. That is where the conductor put them. You would have seen him place the confiscated items, including Jean's gun, which he did not get back, in the compartment at the end of the first class carriage. So,
Probably useful.
that's where the weapons are currently. Should it become relevant at any point. But I don't see why it would. It's just a nice little train journey.